From the cold embrace of death, Sam and Malice ascended for the 4th time. On Earth, Cain, who was still guarding the flower, watched as the 4th petal wilted to black ash and fell from it. An immediate surge of power flowed through Cain and the remaining members of the Ruiz family. Back on the surface of the moon, Sam's body began to reanimate. Similar to the first 2 ascensions, Malice was in control, but this time, he didn't have to force his way in. Sam willingly placed his faith in the demon. The new essence that poured through his cells accumulated in his core and changed his body. Like it did with each petal, the god would be granted a vast overload of power for a short period of time. Malice peeled himself from the cold rock and floated above its surface. From his back, massive boils of slime and light grew until they erupted through his skin. The black sludge twisted and wrapped itself around the golden light, forming into the shape of enormous wings. A brilliant light formed behind him that was several feet in diameter. Its glow was astonishing and could be seen from the earth. The consciousness returned to Malice, and his swelling of energy forced its way out from him in an uncontrollable expansion. The waves of his raw essence looked like the fields of a magnet as they whipped away from his newly converted body and sliced their way into the deepest layers of the moon. His voice erupted in a devastating howl that was partnered with a final burst of his will expanding outward. It was this final blast that dealt a devastating blow and broke the moon in half. Through the flying chunks of rock and dust that hovered in the minuscule gravity of the giant halves of the now split moon, Malice extended his hand. Using nothing but the force of his will, he summoned each piece of Sophia's body, shifting her atoms to reassemble. Muscle, skin, and bone sewed itself back together, and upon assembly, Malice floated her dead body into his arms, allowing only a single tear to escape from his blistering white eyes. They sucked backward into the vortex of a teleportation and reappeared in the sky above the other angels, Ismael and the Ruiz family. Slowly, he floated down, wings spread and light radiating out from behind him, and in his arms, Victor saw the body of Sophia. "No," he said quietly as a quiver overtook his chin. "No, no, 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 no." Malice touched down before him and lay her body at his feet. Victor fell to his knees and grabbed her, rocking back and forth. Julieta and Isabella began to scream for their mother, and they too ran towards her. The silence was devastating, and only the sound of misery and loss filled the air. A few moments passed. The hallowed cries turned into light murmurs. The angels stared in amazement at the god that stood before them. Never had any of them seen a god with wings. The strength of his will was baffling to them. It was a disturbing sight indeed, but what happened next shocked them all. Malice took to one knee and lowered his head to Victor and the girls. And for the first time in the history of the universe, a demon bowed before a man.
She accepted this path. It ended quickly, and she did not suffer long. I could not save her, but I can see to it that she did not die in vain. This level of power will not last for long, but for the time being, human, it is yours to command. What would you have me do?
Victor raised his head and looked at the monster with bloodshot and tear-filled eyes. Make sure that bastard feels the pain.